you probably want it to do a little bit more. And this is where hooks and listeners will come into play. So just to get ready for this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to say private rainbow listener equals new rainbow listener. So we're about to make this new class. So we have the Rainbowz class, and now we're going to have a new rainbow listener class. And C Java is giving us an error because it's like, what the heck are you talking about? So we will make it a little bit happier by doing private class rainbow listener extends plugin listener. So now what this is this is going to be another different class that actually it's a little bit different than Rainbowz because it is a private inner class, meaning that with Rainbowz, anybody can come along and make a new Rainbowz instance, but with a rainbow listener, only Rainbowz can use it, which could be good or bad depending on what you want to do. I'd recommend splitting it up a little bit if your classes are very big. So like if you're watching multiple different hooks, meaning you're watching if they break blocks, if they move, etc., and this becomes very big, I'd recommend splitting it up. But for this, since it's very small and basic, it'll probably be better for us if we just leave it as a private inner class. So what this can do is this can watch different things. So if you want to watch commands, you could do ect.getLoader.addListener playerLoader.hook. So say we don't know what hook we're going to want to use. We can just hop over to our Java doc and we can actually look it up. So this link, which I've posted next to the video, is the latest bleeding edge Java doc for the Minecraft mod or hMod. It's actually probably a little bit more advanced than the version that everybody has, so just be a little bit aware of that. But other than that, it'll have everything that you're looking for. So if we want to go down and see what different hooks we have, we can go pluginloader.hook. So this will list every single different hook that you could have. So right here we have the command hook. This is the hook that we were going to want. So if we do pluginhook.command, this is the hook that we're watching. And we're going to want to use listener. The next parameter is listener, which means what's going to be called when we have this specific hook happen. Then we're going to have this, which is the plugin that is listening with. And then plugin listener.priority. We'll just say medium. That's a good one. Oof. So sorry, there's a small typo right there. So what this whole line does is it's asking etc. etc is the class where you can get different instances of the server, of the Minecraft server, and of the loader, and get the current instance of that, which is pretty much the only way that you can. And so after we have the loader, the current plugin loader, which loads up plugins, adds hooks, etc., we'll add the listeners for hooks. You can add a listener using this specific method. So what this does is it first takes in the hook that you're going to want to listen for. You can put in hook.explosion, hook.ignite, hook.playerMove. You saw the list. There's plenty that you can have. The next one is the listener, which is the rainbow listener, in our case. And this is what's going to be called once that hook happens. And we're going to have to add a method in there to handle this hook. This is the plugin that it's associated with. That's pretty much all that is. And then the priority is how important is your plugin how important is your plugin with respect to it, that it needs this thing. So we'll probably do priority.low because it's probably not that important for Rainbowz to know what commands people are using. But in case you don't really know, a good rule is just to put medium. So we have our hook, and now we want to have a method that will actually take in this command. So if we do public boolean on command player I guess string and then command. So what this is this is the specific method that plugin listener defined. If we go back to the Java doc, we could go see this. So we could go to plugin listener and then on command right here. This is called before the command is parsed. You and the other plugins will get first access to it. And basically, plugin listener defined exactly how it wants it to look. So we need to make sure it returns a Boolean, which we'll explain a little bit later. And it's going to need to say on command. That has to be the name of the method. It has to take in a player followed by an array of strings. It doesn't really matter what you name those two things. Those are just variables that you're going to have inside your method. So first off, we just need to always do return false. This is the default. This will make the default thing happen. And in this case, it'll just say we don't know what the command is. And that's that. So what we're going to want to do is if the player types in Rainbowz, we want it to say, we want it to return like a so what we want to happen is if the player types in, uses the command Rainbowz, we want it to return a rainbowy message. So there's a few things. So player is the actual player object who called this method, who actually typed in the command, and the array of strings is the command. How the array of strings is going to be organized is, what's going to happen is, say they used the command super warp. What our array will look like is command at 0, because it's 0 index, meaning the first index is called 0, will equal warp. It'll just look like that. Command 1 will look like super warp. There will be no command 2, 3, 4, etc. Say that they typed in command super warp 2. That should be command at 2 would equal 2. That's pretty much it. So if we want to see if command at 0 dot equals ignore case slash Rainbowz, then we've got it. That means that they have typed in command Rainbowz. It could be followed by tons of crazy stuff after that, but they did type in our command first thing. Equals ignore case is going to ignore it, so that if they type slash Rainbowz with crazy capitals, we'll still get that. Another thing we might want to check is that they have permission to use this command, so we could do if player dot can use command Rainbowz. This will just check that in the permissions file that they are of a group or something that is able to use this command in case Rainbowz does something super crazy that you wouldn't want new people to do. So then what we'll do is we'll do player dot send message. So this will send them a message to their screen. Nobody else will be able to see it except for them. And we'll do colors dot red plus R, maybe colors dot red or yellow plus A colors dot B. Comes next, green plus I, colors dot blue plus N, maybe colors. I forget about. Is that right? But I think that's it. This is very long, so what we might want to do is we want to extract this into a different method. So what we could do is we could just cut that out. We can do get rainbow message. And then outside here we can make a new method called public string get rainbow message. And instead of having all that jumbly-juke in there, we just have it be right here, and we just say return this message. So I'll explain each of those different pieces. So when Java goes through here, it's going to say, okay, you're calling player.sendMessage, and it's going to expect a string. Because getRainbowMessage is returning a string, I mean, right here, over here, the return type is void, meaning it's not going to return anything. Void, the return type. GetRainbowMessage is a string, and it can be disregarded as such. So then it'll go through here, just pull this string together. What colors.red is it's that funny little character that you need to represent red and yellow and green, etc. But hMod built that in so that you can easily just grab red. And so that I'll pull it back up here, and it'll send them a message with this colorful rainbow of a message. Another thing we're going to want to do is at this point, if say they use this command, it'll still say unknown command. So we need to make sure that we do return true. This will say, okay, we've grabbed this command, we understand what it is. You don't need to say it's unknown command. And that's pretty much it, actually. Yeah, so we can try it out. Now, after you've made your plugin, I guess you want to make sure you save it. You want to go up to up here, and you want to go to export. And what we'll do is we'll export this as a jar file. So it's under Java, jar file, and you want to save it into your plugins folder, and then with the name .jar. So wherever you have your plugins folder, you can browse to it. I'm already in there. You just save it as the name .jar, and you finish. And that's that. So now, if you want to add it to the list, you can go to plugins equal Rainbowz. That's added. You can go to your terminal, start up the server, and there you go. It gave us our intro message. Name plus version is enabled. Rainbowz 1 is enabled. And then if we want to log in and check it out, the function or the command. So do Rainbowz, and there's our friendly little rainbow message. It's a little lame actually. So feel free to spice it up however you want. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer. And I'll also try to make a new video a little bit later, detailing maybe a little bit more of an advanced